All right, one of the members of the commission is with us right now from Capitol Hill, Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, Democrat from Illinois. Thank you so much for joining us. It's obviously a very busy time for you. How will you be voting on Friday?
Well, I haven't seen the latest draft of the proposal, the Bowles-Simpson 2.0. They've been meeting with people. They have not been meeting with me. I released my own proposal, and I think they may suspect that I'm just too far afield from theirs in order to vote for it.
What are the main differences? Yes, please.
Yeah. The main difference is that I made the case with the numbers that we could balance the budget, the primary budget balance, by 2015 without taking away from the middle class. You know, there's talk about shared sacrifice, but over the last 20 years, really, we have not seen the middle class see their income rise. In fact, they're lucky if they stayed even. And so my view is that now that we're trying to cut the deficit, for which the middle class and low-income people had nothing to do with, that we don't need to do it from the middle class. So I showed how we could cut from the defense budget, some of the tax expenditures. We could do things like put a public option on the table for health care, which saves a good deal of money. And we could actually achieve our goals without hurting middle-class people.
I wonder if you have a problem when you talk about the middle class and taking away from them. Is it the child tax credit that you're concerned about, or the mortgage reduction that you're concerned about? I mean, are these the issues that affect the middle class the hardest?
Well, I didn't touch the mortgage deduction, although we certainly could look at, I couldn't get a number for it, taking away the deduction for second homes, which certainly affects mostly the wealthy people, and certainly the child tax credit and the earned income tax credit. Those should stay, yes.
Congresswoman, let me ask you, I'm a taxpayer. I get worried when I see this growing deficit. I want to see something done. I want to see something move forward. But even Alan Simpson has said that he expects the final report to be dead on arrival up on Capitol Hill, considering all the spending cuts and tax increases being proposed. Any chance that we're going to have a viable document or starting point for discussions, which is what we really need? And most folks who come on here who look at the investment climate, they say we need a plan going forward here.
Well, I don't see how we get 14 votes when we include things like cost sharing, more cost sharing for Medicare beneficiaries, making them pay more out of pocket, when even though Social Security has nothing to do with the deficit, cutting the benefits in Social Security. I don't think we need to do those things in order to achieve short-term deficit reduction or long-term debt reduction. And then the irony of all of this is that those who are often most concerned about deficit reduction are wanting to pass on the tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans that cost something like $35 billion every single year, and are reluctant to talk about unemployment insurance, which actually not only helps the 2 million people who have lost their benefits this very day, but it will stimulate the economy. After all, that money will go right out of their pockets into the marketplace, to small businesses, paying their bills. People are going to go to the grocery store with that. So that's an economic stimulus that will also cut the deficit because we will stimulate the economy.
If you, though, talk about raising taxes on the wealthiest, aren't you concerned that they also create the most jobs? I mean, Art Laffer has come on this program a number of times and said that these are the people who create the jobs, and they're also the people who can move their money if the tax regime is changed.
You know, I think that has actually, how many years do we have to try this kind of trickle down? Demand is the thing that creates jobs. If people have money, they go out to buy things, then small businesses and large are going to hire more people in order to be able to sell those products. If there is not the demand, if there's not the customer base, then of course these businesses aren't going to spend the money. I think it's backwards to say that these are the job creators when actually there's no customers if they don't have the dough.
But rather than giving them unemployment insurance, if they had jobs, wouldn't that be better than paying them unemployment?
And that's another thing where I differ with the Bowles-Simpson plan. I talk about investment in the economy and in creating jobs early on, whereas their proposal does not talk about investment. We heard today from the CBO that, 3.5 million jobs were saved or created by the stimulus program. I think, frankly, it was too small. And so, yes, we have to engage in job creation, not in deficit cutting right now. I believe that we need to do it, and I think the debt is a problem, but stimulating the economy, creating jobs is number one.
I have to ask about Social Security. I mean, you mentioned that you don't think it leads to a deficit. is it not a problem that we need to tackle? Is Social Security not going to run out of control?
Not until 2037, and even Simpson Bowles say that right now it has absolutely nothing to do with the deficit. But 75-year solvency is important. I have a way to do it without cutting the benefits of beneficiaries who, on average, make about $18,000 a year with everything. That's pension, savings, investments. So we're talking about pretty low-income, older Americans, and I don't think that's the way to get the money by cutting benefits. But we could raise revenue in order to make Social Security solvent.
So help me out. You guys get nothing done, and then what? In another 6 months, we have another group that's going to study this all over again?
Well, first of all, let's be clear that our proposal still would have to be voted on by the United States Senate, would have to go to the United States House of Representatives, which is going to be a new Congress coming in the fall. So let's be clear that the proposal that might or might not be voted on Friday is not going to become law.
All right. No, I get it. All right. Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky, thank you so much for finding time for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.